Hello, everyone. So I'd like to do a reading specifically for a specific sign. Mind you, when I do this is going to be more like what's called pop astrology. So that means it's going to be more general and it may or may not resonate with you. So it depends. But it could because you have all the signs in you. You're not just one sign. It's just part of the whole process. It's all connected. It's kind of tied to shadow work, challenges you meet. So that means it still applies to you. Like it's the same thing, when we say we mirror each other. We are basically part of source. So that means, right? We're all the same in essence, right? So, but we're different experiences. That's all. Okay, so let's see what we get. So I'll be using specific asteroids, centaurs, dwarf planet, depending on how specific it gets. For those who know astrology a little bit, it's going to get a little bit more detailed. So we'll see what we get. I also realized I haven't opened my little file here, which I can do right now. But while I do that, let's see if I can actually find it. Yes, okay, I found it. All right. So okay, so we've got here. So coin toss first to determine whether it's a one or two dice. Because if we just have the two dice all the time, that means it's going to be first house, or rather, area is going to be left out. Okay, let's see what we get. Oops, let's try that again. Oh, that fell out. Okay, that doesn't count. Heads. Okay, yeah. That means it's one dice on. Six. So that means that is Virgo. Let me specify with the house. Okay, let's see what area of your life that's in. Um, it's trying to give me the coin toss. To be more specific. Tails. That means two dice. Eighth house. Ooh. It's the house of health, the house of psychological health, inner health, your taboo, are things that need to be transformed, taxes, your partner's money, any sort of banking resources that you share, the resource that you are willing to give, sacrifice, kind of, um, but also, what else am I missing? People say it's the house of death, but it's no, that's not what it is. It's symbolic. It's also like maybe things that you have to deal with on a subconscious level. It is also the house of health, so anything pertaining to your body will be part of this process as well. So let's take a look and see what we get. Okay, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna look at the first sign in Virgo, first planet or body that goes up in Virgo right away. Okay, Lachesis right here. I see it right away. And I'm actually, just for those who are interested, I am going to share the chart. Just so you know. Okay, so we have Lachesis here in Virgo. 20 degrees. It's going to be opposite of Neptune. Is that actually Neptune? No, opposite of, sorry, Sekhmet. It looks like is that even Sekhmet? No, what is that? Mars. I believe that's Mars. Yeah, that's right. It's opposite of Mars. So that kind of makes sense. Oh, it's opposite of Mars. It's conjunct. It's not conjunct panacea. Okay, let's go with Lachesis now. Lachesis is one of the what do you call them? The Furies, vengeance, and all that stuff. Or is it no? She's one of the fates. Sorry, my bad. So she's about fate, destiny, and afterlife, reincarnation. She's the one I think who is she's the one clothed in white. She's the one who measures the spindle or the thread Okay, so cloth of spindle. She's the one who measures it. So she determines basically destiny. So that means that in terms of like how much we stay in the path that we're in, or the one that we our soul chose to be in this life, in this incarnation. Okay. Uh, let's see here. So it's also about acceptance, the choice that you make, your wants, your desires, because it's tied to the fates as well. Any factors that determine what your what you feel is your what you're predisposed to. Um, Rationing, also parting, disposing. So basically, anything that you kind of impart, any sort of thing that you, how do you call this, distribute and could have spread out in your life. It's about measurement, allotment, allocation, apportioning, and portioning fractions of your life, dissemination, that kind of stuff, division. Okay. It's a game of chance too. So there could be that it could be sort of tied to chance. Let's see what we get here because it's tied to Virgo. It's in the eighth house. So that means that anything that you're experiencing, Virgo, if your sun is in Virgo, or your personal planets, your moon, Mercury, Venus, Mars, if it's in Virgo and then it's tied somehow, any of those things tied to somehow the eighth house to from a different planet, or if it's a ruling planet ruling one of your planets, it's called the dispositor. Um, Anyways, long story short. Okay, so it could be anything to do with, you know, gambling. So if I'm not sure if you're, Virgo is not known for necessarily gambling, but if you do have a placement in Sagittarius or in Aries, Leo, not so much. No, I don't think so. It's more about Aries and Sagittarius that tends to gamble. So Gemini can be as well. But those are kind of like square to Virgo. If it is square, meaning it means if you experience challenges in your life. Um, so it could be also tied to anything measured. So anything that you measure itself, tools or measurements, if you've been doing that or you're measuring what you have, you are taking into account things that you've done, you're rationing things, maybe kind of maybe for backup or for rationing like portions or sort of like maybe you just do that because you want to organize things as well, right? Things that have been kind of broken down or dismantled or ruined or whether it's I say here visible parts. Okay, dismantled objects with visible parts. So it could be anything in your life, right? It could be also anything that when it comes to little bits and pieces or ingredients, parts of a whole thing. Um, that includes also things tied to her, tied to Lachesis, which is threads, textiles, spinning, bobbins, spools, rods, any sort of spinning, right? Yarns, threads, wire, tape, films, etc., including weaving, knitting, sewing, and lace making themselves. Okay, so any sort of spinning. It could be also spinning itself, like you're spinning. Maybe it's symbolic, like you're spinning around, that you're not really moving. You're just kind of here and there. You're not really going anywhere. You're kind of sitting in the same spot. Right? Maybe it feels like that as well. Um, Maybe you need to kind of, what am I saying here? What am I seeing here also? Something about I'm seeing this sort of like this dispersion thing has to kind of happen in balance with keeping things centered, if that makes sense, right? That's what I'm seeing here. This could also mean that you're something to do with clothing or costumes. Maybe you're kind of maybe wondering about your life, like how much you've come, how much how far you've come rather. Um, Something to do possibly with government or military units, which is funny because that's actually tied into the Mars opposite of Lachesis here. So maybe you need to um, something about not just anger, but like initiative, assertiveness. Also, if it's tied to the eighth house, more like embracing part of your sexuality. You know, Virgo might be the sign, the kind of sign that watches porn because there's this desire for purity, right? It's the virgin. So if it's not if a part of yourself is resisting or has resisted your more your sexual power, what would happen is, and if you judge that, so what you resist will persist, it goes into the direction of Pisces, also into it's squaring sign Gemini and Sagittarius. Those are kind of more about Gemini can be sort of flirtatious. So it depends. Right. So with that being the case, there can be a need to embrace that. If you have placements in Scorpio or Aries that kind of challenge your where you are, that means that there's some sort of like need to embrace that. Because again, what we resist rather, not excluding myself from that, but it will persist if you resist it. So shadow work could be important right now. Business departments, so I'm not sure about that one. Okay, so if it's tied to the eighth house, it could be also your circulatory system itself, which is very much Virgo. But that also could include our cardiovascular system, the pulmonary, and the systemic systems. So any organs in part of the body, or body parts, or parts of the body itself, and general anatomy itself. Okay. This also includes probably like any sort of oxygenated parts of your body or deoxygenation or of the blood, arteries and blood and veins. The capillaries, of course, that's the veins. Um, Capillaries here to join the venules. I forgot what that means, but I don't know what it is. If you're getting the number 3, that might be, connected to you. Okay. I don't know much about numerology. I am studying it, so we'll see. There's also 1 and 2. You're getting some sort of 1, 2, or the majority is 3. But then, we'll see. I don't know if that resonates. I don't know. Take a look at it. Um, hmm. If there's a date that's coming up, it's May 2. That's baby day. That's tied to Lachesis as well. So if it's significant for you, that's my, and all birthdays. Okay, it's all birthdays. Okay. If you've also been playing certain games of chance like bingo, the lotto, keno, game shows, roulettes, knucklebones, blackjack, those kind of stuff, anything with gambling, that's what it's showing me here. Okay. Rubble, anything like I said earlier about things that are broken down. Uh, let's see if that's tied to what do we see here? Atropos. Okay, so that means that let's see. Thea. I feel like there's something about that feels natural for you that you can control. Maybe Atropos is one of the also the fates. She's the sister. So she's about transitions, destiny, endings. So if you're moving at a point in your life and you're making changes, it's probably flowing for you right now. It's tied to Earth, so that means that there's something physical, actually material that you're shifting in your life that naturally feels normal, or at least it feels natural for you. Um, Watch out for in sort of like inflexibility, sort of like things that don't flow. Okay, watch out for those kind of things. Maybe I don't know if something to do with severance pays. This is tied to the eighth house. So that also means like house of trouble. So that means if you got fired somehow, something's ending, or you're quitting a job, severance pays. Well, that's severance pays if you get fired. Governments and systems, again, fall of systems or something like a fall of a system in your life, that could be part of that as well. Any sort of things that are ending, like that causes things to end themselves, could be anything, right? You name it. Watch out for that. So that could also mean that maybe there's watch out for anything with your teeth. If there's anything happening with your teeth and falling off, that's a sign there's something there. Any sort of nerve damage as well, that can be tied to that as well. And bone fracturing, maybe cracking of your nails. I don't know if you've gotten that one. Let's see here. It's also tied to Thea. Thea was the uh, Titan goddess. Was it Titan goddess? Or rather, no, she was an Olympian. She was the mother of Diana in Roman mythology, but also of in Greek mythology, mother of Artemis. So the moon, but Theo was the moon before that. She's about transformation and inner power, things that again, transformation, mutation, being neutral, kind of being present, all seeing, all knowing. So if you're also going through things like the shifts that I told you about, there's something about sacrifice. Okay, I said that earlier, just about something about sacrifice or self-worth. Um, maybe you're giving into, or rather giving over to the changes that are shifting in your life that have to do with, what's in me, what can I find for myself that is, co-created with my, not just people, so I see this a lot, divine feminine, but also probably like something maybe tied to family. I'm not sure if this is tied to family, or maybe certification or awards, because it is tied to self-worth, so that could be it as well. If you're taking any sort of like steroids, like maybe you've had to, maybe because of the bones, or maybe you had to have for your circulatory system, or I'm not a doctor, so like, or your ear, nose, and throat, that's kind of tied to that. Okay. Uh, maybe sort of sponsorship. I don't know if maybe you got promoted, maybe you're moving to another job, something about the financing as well. It feels like it's tied to that whole thing I said about severance. Maybe there's either that or some sort of breaking off or inflation. I don't know what's going on there. Okay. Maybe you're getting sponsors or subscribers, support, right? Contributions, donations. Mm, mm, there's something probably about high frequency, something like that, speed of light, like vision. I don't know. It's not tied to the earth stuff, but yeah, could be working on your psychic abilities as well. So premonitions. Because this is the eighth house, I would say. mm, Something about not only expansion and growth and transmutation, but I feel like you're also growing. Maybe there's something that is growing and you need to be more plastic. You need to be more like, it's tied to the neuroplasticity. So maybe there's neuroplasticity happening with the shifting in your body as well. So there's, because of the light coming in, there's a more expanded. So your abilities, your skills are expanding. That's what I feel here. Watch out for parts of the body related to all that stuff that I said, but particularly like the eyes. Anything, maybe arms as well, I'm not sure. The lungs, the brain, the skin, the stomach, specifically ingestion, consumption, digestion, metabolism. Any sort of flexibility. Maybe you're becoming more flexible. Maybe you're just, just like, "Ooh," and you're adapting to that stuff. Growth hormones, maybe you're taking some of that, or you are developing your own. If it is tied to all that natural spiritual gifts, it could be pineal gland related. Your intelligence could be tied to this. It is very Virgo, and also your IQ and EQ. If you're working with AI, that's possible. That could be possible with this one. It's not. That's a little bit like Virgo because it's technology or science. Okay, assimilation, adoption, or adoption of something, or adaptation, adjustable things. Again, neuroplasticity, plastics, rub- rubber bands, elastics. Mm, I don't know if it's something to do with multiplicity or plurality or polypsychism, something about that. I don't know. Again, it's growing, expanding, right? If you're working with anything that expands to like yeast, that could be part of that. Balloons that expands, anything that expands, really. Um, I don't know if you were also working through like because of the science part of Virgo, maybe something to do with open skies, black holes, nebulas, right? Um, Maybe something to do with the Pacific Ocean as well. Large animals, like largest animals. I don't know if you've gotten to that recently. So we're talking large, like blue whales, African bush elephant, colossal squid, lion's mane, jellyfish. Those are huge. And spaciousness. So anything large as well is part of this one as well. I know that kind of went a little I sidetracked a little bit there, but that's part of what could be happening. There's something probably maybe there with the home. If it is tied to the fourth house, it would make sense because the eighth house is trying to the fourth house. So it could be anything to do with the home as well. Maybe you're furnishing stuff. Maybe it's just, that's what a part of the shifts that you're getting, and you're probably getting extra help from that as well. Okay, vitamins and minerals is part of this as well. So maybe that's something that your body needs as well. Um, so again, watch out for that whole that if it's, maybe it's the opposite where if you were a bit more sexual before, maybe it's time to kind of like go into more of the chastity sort of thing. Not that I'm not claiming anything. I'm just saying it's kind of like honoring your virgin self if it's the opposite. So you have to integrate both sides, right? Virgo is ruled by Chiron as well, which is about integration. So embrace and assimilate what is all of you, all aspects of yourself. So it could be inner child stuff, shadow work is related to this as well. So I think that's about it. I think, yeah, that's about it. Yeah. So I hope that helps. Thank you for watching. I'll see you guys later. Bye.